Hello everybody and welcome back to the PlasmaMuffin YouTube channel on youtube.com/PlasmaMuffin. Today I'm going to be showing you how to beat the Empires of the Undergrowth level 4-1 Cold Blood on Impossible difficulty with the challenge active. First we need to rehouse the colony. I'll put a timestamp on the screen to when I start the level if you just want to see that. This tank is not suitable for the upcoming tests. It is time to rehouse the colony. You will be awarded an amount of jelly during the switch based on colony size, construction, stored resources, and territory.
Short-sighted, simple, churlish fools. They don't understand. None of them understand. The experiment must proceed. There isn't much time. Quickly, my raptors. Into the terrarium. You'll be safe here.
1,181 royal jelly, that's pretty good. I don't think the time you spend in the formicarium counts against you in the score. That would be a little odd if it did.
Is it done?
Yes, yes. Look. Gone.
I see. Well, good. It's about time. Anyway, I'm going to need you to make yourself available this afternoon. Apparently, a large quantity of unrefined jelly has gone missing from the overflow vessel, and Supply wants to speak with the whole group about proper checkout procedures. You wouldn't happen to know anything about it, would you?
What? No. What would I want with unrefined jelly?
Well, quiet.
What would I want, indeed?
Okay, so there's something I didn't know. For the longest time, I couldn't figure out why the scientist, one or two, the dude guy, I couldn't figure out why he was hiding the ants from the other scientist until I came to the incredibly obvious realization that this is after the experiments were supposed to end. This, the last one, after the leaf cutters, was supposed to be the final experiment. That's why she said that they're going to dispose of the specimens and close the project. So this formicarium is actually a terrarium of plants, and if you go look down here, it's labeled S. tenellum, and that's so he can claim that S. balticum. That's so he can claim that they just escaped and infested this area, and he can pretend that he didn't do it if it gets found. I didn't know that, even though it's incredibly obvious. S. fuscum. Oh, like Fusca. And your queen is blah, 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 blah. Two more. Yeah, we know. Okay. So now, let's get to the level. Difficulty. I forgot I need to... you know what? We're not actually going to do it with a challenge active, and I'll show you why that doesn't matter. Okay, we get to choose between pervasive and vigorous. Vigorous are better in almost every way, so we're going to be choosing that. The difference is, pervasive ants hatch for free if the egg has been on the tile for 90 seconds. The first hatch, right after you place it, only takes 5 seconds to charge up a free hatch. Every respawn after that takes 90 seconds. If the ant associated with that tile dies before that time is up, it will charge you for the hatch and hatch immediately instead of waiting for it to become free. Also, fire ants are incredibly cheap to hatch, only 4 food and 40 food to place, so it's not that useful except in early game. And if your entire colony dies due to a failed attack, then you can replenish the whole thing with no food. Those are the only reasons to choose pervasive, which is unfortunate because it's a great idea. Vigorous ants, however, get a 50% bonus to damage, attack speed, damage, defense, and movement speed for 2 minutes after hatching, which is insane. And both variants of fire ants, once upgraded to level 3, will spawn 2 ants. So these are actually just about the only ant that's actually worth upgrading, because you get 2 level 3s once you upgrade to level 3. I could go into the exact cost, but that's not important right now. First thing, move these guys over here.
Queen has landed on the edge of a swamp. She may
I'm going to turn the narration down a little bit. So you want to immediately send these nest workers out. Excuse me. Turn off food, turn off combat, go here on the map, collect these aphids if you can. That's because if you wait more than immediately, really, then these big-headed ants will start harvesting from here, and you can't collect these aphids without triggering them. This is the boss of the level, the bullfrog, and its health will slowly increase as the level goes on. I don't know why you can't see the health bar all the time. Also, the hitbox for this question mark thing is really messed up. Alright, so we got lucky, and nothing spawned in the way of our ants. Sometimes you'll get attacked by beetles or spiders on the way here, or on the way back, and you won't get all of the aphids. Conveniently, you have exactly enough to get all the aphids right off the bat, which is very good. So the frog starts with 9,000 health, and it gets up to 48,000. It takes forever for it to fill up all the way. That has never happened to me on any difficulty, but it does happen, but don't worry about it. And we're going to get attacked close to the nest, but that's okay because it's close to the nest. So we'll just wait for these guys to get jumped. We just need to get the aphids off this mound, really, because as long as they're down here or so, then the big-headed ants won't take them back. Okay, now that we have that out of the way, turn on combat and food gathering, and we're going to start collecting food from here. Now, we're going to dig out a tile thing here, a chamber rather. It's going to be traditional chamber of 19. You actually, once you've got 19 soldiers, you want to start upgrading them immediately. I know it's weird. I never recommend upgrading soldiers, but or any ants really, but it's worth it in this level because they're cheap and they also give you double ants at level 3. And they're actually pretty weak before level 3. Comparatively, anyway. I don't know why tips is on. I thought I turned that off. You have to do that for each level. That's a little annoying. I'm going to turn the music down, too, because I don't really like the fire ant music, to be completely honest. Oh, come on! Okay, okay. So, basically, here's the thing. You collect these aphids for the level. I'm assuming you know how the basics of the level work. If you don't, you're watching the wrong video. Go play the game yourself. And basically, aphids are the main food source early game. Why do we only have one? Great, we have enough food to hatch 2 ants. Please leave. Okay, so this is actually really unlucky. Normally, you don't get other ant colonies trying to loot your aphids for a little while. Thing is, we don't want to fight the other colonies. Even just this one, as soon as they see you, they will become aggressive and start raiding your nest. And we don't want that to happen until we're ready to actually take down their nest, because the extra food we get from the aphids is not worth losing, it's not worth losing. It's not worth getting attacked over. So they've left now, so we're going to go ahead and collect this. We're going to leave these here, and we're going to collect them later. Once we lose these 5 aphids, we'll collect these 5 to replenish them, because the other colonies shouldn't steal these ones. They probably won't steal those ones. So we're going to want to get as many ants as we can before we start digging out the underground chambers. Now, we're not going to be defending our aphids at all to avoid triggering the other ants. And it's not a very common strategy. I've never seen anyone else use it, but it's very consistent. It's the safe way to play, and I like to go for the safe ways. Now, by the way, it is completely possible to beat this level on Impossible with pervasive ants. It's just, pervasive ants are actually easier in early game for this level. Vigorous are easier in late game. So we're going to be monitoring the aphids. By the way, I have a list showing the timestamps for when everything happens in the level. So if you use a stopwatch or your phone or a timer like LiveSplit to and you start right as the level starts, you'll know exactly when everything in the level happens, so you can prepare for it properly. But that's a little overkill for this level, unless you're having a lot of trouble with it, so I'm not going to be using that. We will need to use it in the later levels. Particularly the last one. That one's killer. And the one that comes right after this one, actually. Now, I mentioned that we don't need to worry about having challenge mode on. The reason for that is because challenge mode might as well not exist on Cold Blood. The challenge mode is fishing spiders, which attack you when you make bridges. But the thing is, you don't have to make any bridges in this level. It's really not worth it most of the time, to be honest. So we're not going to worry about that. So, yeah, I always forget that I need to play the levels first before I try to make the video on it, because you don't unlock challenge mode from the start, which is a little annoying. I don't know why they do that. I mean, you can literally just skip the levels if you want. Now, I have 6 ants. That might be enough to kill this spider. And I'm just going to go ahead and collect these aphids as well if I can. Oh, the spider's leaving. Perfect. So if you want to fight creatures for food, go for the spiders, not the beetles. The spiders are way weaker. Let's go ahead and compare stats, actually. Spiders have 60 HP and 18 attack damage. These guys have 200 HP and 20 attack damage. So the attack damage isn't that much different, but they have so much more health that it takes forever to kill them. If you have a decent amount of ants, you can kill those little spiders really fast. So food is going to be a big problem. You've noticed we haven't even dug out any of the underground. But I think it's finally time to do so. So let's bring our ants here. And go dig this out. Turn off combat. This is the first chamber we want to unearth. It's got a, what do you call it? A checkered beetle larva in it. And, wait, no, stop, hang on. What's the pattern I use for this? I forgot what pattern I use. I guess we'll just use this pattern. I think I messed this up and put this too high, but that's okay. I'm actually going to want to build a food storage pretty soon. Or like right off the bat. With pervasive ants, you actually don't want to build a food storage. Because you want to keep the amount of stored food you have to a minimum. Because that way it will... If you have no food available to respawn your soldiers, then it'll force them to wait until you get the free hatches. Now again, it's not that big of a... It's not that big of a worry how much they cost to respawn, except in the early game. So this is really our only reliable source of food, because all the rest of the food is off the mound, where all the enemies are. See, just down here, it's guarded by these beetles. It's guarded by the spiders. Underground, it's guarded by beetle larvae. Make sure, whenever your ants are collecting aphids, keep an eye on the minimap to make sure you're not being invaded by the other colonies, because that can end very, very badly. It's also better to attack the rooms that don't have the big beetles in them, even if there are more little beetles, because the little beetles are quite a bit weaker than the big ones. So let's bring them over here. Little tip. If you put your workers in a... If you let them start digging, then put them in a chamber and put the marker down, and turn off food and combat, usually they will immediately... Oh, because I had combat on here. Usually they will immediately run back after they excavate the opening. And if they... Because normally they'll open the area up and then see, oh hey, food, and then they'll go get it. Or they'll try and attack the enemies in there. Even if you have both of those off, if you don't place a marker down, they'll just sit there and get themselves killed. So they don't leave immediately unless you tell them to. So that's a good way to do things. We want to make sure all of our nest chambers are capable of being fully upgraded. Upgrowed, if you will. Okay, just want to make sure I haven't misplaced any other than these ones I obviously did. Make sure that you're not going to place them next to the nest tiles, because you won't be able to fully upgrade them, if that's the case. This level takes quite a while, by the way, like many of the levels, so allocate about an hour to it. It usually takes 40 minutes to an hour. If you're playing slowly and carefully, like I like to do, it will usually take more like an hour. These seeds are really not that useful, honestly. Alright, I think I'm ready to take this group down now. So, you don't want food storage for the pervasive ants, so you can take advantage of the free hatching more. For vigorous, however, you do want to have food stores so you can afford to rehatch them because of the rehatch bonus. And we're also going to try and fight as close to the spawn tiles as possible. That way we can... when our ants respawn, they will be able to get into the fight immediately, which is very helpful. Now, I'm going to be digging out a lot of these chambers. I wouldn't recommend doing that if you have pervasive ants, because they're a lot weaker. But vigorous ants can usually handle it. So once we've made it to nighttime without being attacked by the other colonies, they shouldn't attack us at all.
Is hunting for insects outside the nest. It may seem unwise to wander so freely amongst the large amphibians that share the swamp at night, but they do well.
Yeah, these guys are way stronger than pervasive. It's honestly, I think they need to slightly nerf vigorous ants, like make it so their buff only lasts 1 minute or so. And did I say buff or no? They need to nerf vigorous ants and buff pervasive. Maybe make pervasive take like only 30 seconds to charge up a free spawn, because honestly 90 seconds and a 2-minute buff is kind of ridiculous. But whatever. Then they have this cool trail that goes behind them when they have their buff active as well, which is very nice. The extra speed alone is incredibly helpful. Okay, now, at night you will get attacked by toads. Again, the exact timing will be put in the description, but it gives you about 20 seconds of warning, so not too big of a problem. So the only ones you'll have to worry about for the first couple nights are the one that spawns up here and the one that spawns up here. If you've dug out this chamber or this chamber, then they will both attack. Then they will attack you. If you dig out this chamber, this one will attack you. If you dig out this chamber, this one will attack you on the first night. But they will attack you more in the later levels. So even if you don't, later nights, if you don't dig out any tiles, you'll still get attacked by toads eventually. Also, fun fact, they're not technically toads. They're called toads in the game, but they're actually technically a frog, I think. Or no. I think they're called a frog, but they're actually a toad. No. Yeah, no, they're frogs. Yeah, no, I remember now, they're frogs. I learned that from this YouTuber called An Ecologist Plays, who's a professional ecologist that plays Empires of the Undergrowth and talks about his knowledge of nature and how it relates to the games he's playing. And it's very cool. You can learn so much about bugs. So if you're at all interested in bugs, or you just want to learn the real-life lore of Empires of the Undergrowth, go check him out. Link will also be in the description. So the frog is at 10,000 health now, and it'll only eat those guys near it if you send the camera over to it, or at least it makes them eat it faster. Her, actually, whatever. It makes the frog eat them faster, and that will cause him to heal. Alright, so here's how you fight the frogs. Turn off food and combat, send them to the frog, and then once they've grouped up all around the frog and surrounded it, then you turn combat on. Otherwise, they'll all group up around one spot, and when it does its area of effect grab and eat attack, it'll hit like all your ants and they'll all die instantly because it's an execute. And now we have to worry about this guy over here. This is why we have food gathering off, so they don't spend time gathering food instead of defending the nest. Yeah, if you have vigorous ants, they should be able to take these dudes down. Perfect. Now we can gather food and start upgrading our ants. The only downside to upgrading now instead of making more chambers is that all of our ants will be in the same chamber, but that's... it's worth it. Small price to pay for the power you get. Yeah, fire ants are the only ants worth upgrading 90% of the time. Also, update on the frontline situation. I mentioned that I was going to wait to make a video on it until either it got patched to become easier or I discovered a new strategy. Both of those things happen. It hasn't been patched yet, but it's in the beta branch, and they're going to make it so leafcutter media have less health and damage, but they can harvest faster. So that's definitely going to change the game a bit. And also, there's going to be... I've got a new idea for a strategy. I can't think of words. Half of my videos are just me pausing to think of the right words. If I was a better YouTuber, I'd edit all the waiting out. If you want another video on Cold Blood, then check out Shepherd's Pie's video. He makes Empires of the Undergrowth tutorials, and they're also narrated, and they're pretty good. I use them a lot. Only problem is he almost never uploads, but he's been uploading lately. He's actually where I got one of the ideas for Frontline. And I tried out the new strategy once, and it worked immediately, first try. Don't know how consistent it will be, though, because I have not tested it yet. We're going to do our best to collect these aphids before the little black ants come to harvest them. By the way, when you collect aphids from a plant, it actually deletes the food because they'll get the aphids instead of collecting the food, and once all the aphids are gone, like here, once this yellow number reaches 0, they will no longer... it will delete the food that those aphids had. So, theoretically, if you want to maximize food, you would turn off aphid gathering, and then collect the food, then turn it back on and collect the aphids, but it's not worth it at all to do that. So we've already got 1 level 3, technically 2 level 3s now. We're going to have 38 per chamber of 19, which is incredible. Alright, so now that it's daytime, we're going to go outside and collect some enemies for food. We're going to want to go north, and we can kill spiders easily, checker beetles slightly harder, and where are the green beetles? I need to see a green beetle. Can't find any. Uh-oh. We're getting our aphids looted. Nuts. Right after we get 15 as well. That sucks. But, oh well. Do you see how fast we killed that spider? It was almost instant. That's how much weaker they are. Even though each one of these guys only does, like, what? 1.5 damage. They attack fast, and there's a lot of them, so... If you go over here, this wasp-manted fly will show up, and you can kill it. Don't have to cross the bridge for that. Again, I did not worry about fishing spiders at all in this level. However, on the next level, Bridge Too Far, they're incredibly deadly, because they spawn in large groups and are very powerful. I think they're either as bad as wolf spiders from Rising Tide or worse. I'm not sure exactly. Haven't tested that. Once we're done collecting all the food from the enemies here, we're going to go up north further and... oh, here we go. Perfect. Alright, Checkered Beetle has 18 damage, 350 health, 20 damage, 200 health. Okay. So... was it 150 or 350? I already forgot. At any rate... oh, hi. New guy just spawned. Wake up, babe. New beetle just dropped. So, now our aphids are getting stolen by the big-headed ants, but they just want to loiter around there for a bit first. If you're lucky, then both colonies will try to steal your aphids at once, and they'll fight each other. And if you're really lucky, a spider will get in their way.
A raiding party of big-headed ants are stealing aphids.
Correct.
They must be stopped.
Incorrect. Do not stop them. Because at this point, once you get to the point where you can eat the enemies outside, then the aphids are not a necessary source of food. They help a little bit, but the difficulty increase of getting attacked by the other colonies is just too much, in my opinion. This makes it so much easier and more relaxing. With these, you can either turn off food gathering while your ants go past the carnivorous plants, or you can just feed them to them. I just feed them to them, it's easier. Oh, they didn't even take all the aphids. We still have some. Alright, well, let's quickly harvest them before they take more. By the way, pitcher plants, you can get food from them, but you have like a 90% chance of just dying instead, so don't bother. Even with pervasive ants, there's really no point in attempting that. By the way, here's the pattern you want to use for upgrading ants. You want to upgrade the first 7 tiles, then 1 here, skip 1 here, and then 1 over here. And with that, you'll be able to upgrade all of the tiles in the middle, all 7 of them, to level 3. Because I see a lot of people that upgrade in a very unoptimized pattern. I mean, it's not a huge deal, but it kind of bugs me. Insert joke. Man, there's tons of enemies here. We're also going to want to get this pine cone pretty soon. Oh yeah, enemies will sometimes fight each other, which is fun. They'll also sometimes run through here and back down here. I don't know why, but they will do that sometimes. So just keep that in mind. Did you see how much damage one ant did to these guys? I'm beginning to wonder if they actually have 60 health. Oh, right, I remember now, because the fire ants have a sting, which does more damage than their bite. A lot more damage, apparently. Although it doesn't say. There's a lot of stats that are not shown in the game with this tool, and they also are not on the wiki. For example, the delay between stings, the damage of stings, stuff like that. And unfortunately, data mining isn't allowed on the official Slug Disco Discord. The Slug Discord, if you will. And you can even get banned for it. I think the reason for that is because I think they have like code for future updates in there, incomplete code, and you can spoil it if you data mine it. I don't know. It's confusing, but you can data mine if you just stay off the Discord. That's fine. Keep upgrading. Yeah, at this point you just want to get the tiles that have that are 10 out of 12 and just get both tiles on the sides of those. Once we've harvested the pine cone, then by that time night should have fallen and we can kill the toads, and then we might be strong enough to get the rest of the food. Once we get all the food down here, that's when we're going to start attacking enemy colonies, starting with the black ants. And you do not want to attack the enemy colonies until you are ready to launch a full-on assault of their nest. And we start with the black ants because they're weaker. What we want to do is get our army as strong as possible and then attack the big-headed ants and kill them before they have a chance to raise more than a couple super majors. If you anger them immediately by trying to defend your aphids, then they will get super soldiers immediately and make the entire rest of the run much harder. Now we're going to obviously need some speed tiles here. It's a shame that speed tiles are only really useful for upgrades and not for actually using for speed. They need to cost like 1 food or something. I think that'd be a good change. So ideally I'd be able to collect the aphids and the pine cone at the same time, but I've only got 1 group, so I can't do that. By the end of this level, you should have over 200 ants or so. At this point, I have enough food. I'm just going to spam upgrades. See how much health the frog's at. Look at this. It's huge, but the hitbox for clicking on it is tiny. And it's right here in its abdomen for some reason. 12,000. It usually has about 20,000 by the time we attack it, which is half of its max. Now, the amphibian attacks at night, the toads, will increase in intensity as the game goes on, but don't worry too hard about it. It's not that big of a deal. You should grow your colony strength fast enough to outstrip that pretty easily. But still, don't take too long. Now, you can easily beat the level without killing the other colonies. I just like to do that because I like to be as prepared as possible for the final fight. And you have to deal with the amphibian wave after the fight as well. This guy is basically as powerful as one of the fishing spiders, and imagine fighting like 3 of these at once while half of your ants are sitting on a bridge. Yeah, it's not easy. Okay, look at that. When threatened, she can spit venom from her fangs. First off, why is there a pause there? And second, why did you need to specify from her fangs? Where else is she going to shoot it from? I mean, I suppose she could have like a sprayer on her back like the bombardier beetles, but whatever. Oh yeah, we want to dig out this area as well for a 3rd chamber. We're later going to build a 4th chamber up here. And why don't we do that right now? Save some time, make some progress. We're gonna hole up our ants over here, wait for these guys to show up, and then we're gonna attack them so we can fight them in the large area instead of in the narrow corridor. You always want to fight in a big open area, which is a shame because it kind of ruins the whole narrow tunnels ant vibe aesthetic kind of thing. But that's okay, it's fine. We're still getting quite a lot of aphid food, or aphid if you will. I need to stop making portmanteaus, they're not that clever. So now that we've got this fully upgraded, we can delete these tiles. We can start digging out the tiles around it, because we don't need them for upgrades anymore. And we can... What was the other thing? Start making a new chamber. There we go. We're going to wait on that, though. Now, these spiders will change where they are. They'll change from one plant to another. There's 3 plants. Yeah, see right here. There's 3 plants. They go from here to here to here. I don't know exactly which order they go in all the time. It might be randomized. I don't know. But if you can catch them before they get to the... Because they're invincible up here, but if you can catch them before they get there, you can kill them, and it gives you a fair amount of food. So yeah, in retrospect... Really? He walked right past us! Okay, well, we'll kill this guy at least. Because they'll have to run past us to get here. And we got a bombardier beetle. You want to do the same strategy you do with the frogs. That is, turn off combat, surround it, then turn combat back on. Ideally, but we have enough ants so we can just brute force. By the way, you can tell that the guys that attack you at night are toads and not frogs, because toads actually can't swim. It's like tortoises. They look like turtles, but they can't actually swim. That's how you can tell the difference. Frogs are moist-skinned and they need constant water to survive. So if you see a frog-like creature just sitting there on the ground somewhere, it's probably a toad. Because frogs only go out of the water occasionally. They usually stay right by or in it most of the time, I believe. Once the next nighttime enemy shows up, I've got a couple fun facts about it. So, I believe it's the 3rd night when all these other critters start tunneling into your nest. Until then, you just have to worry about these guys. I think. It's either night 3 or 4. Again, I'll have timestamp. Actually, I don't think I got timestamp for when these guys show up. On the... for when the other frogs start attacking, but Again, it's not really necessary to have that.
The ants must fight.
See that grab attack? It gets multiple ants at once. If they're all grouped up on one side, then it will get pretty much all of them at once and you'll lose tons. You could also bait it out by sending like one worker at them. And I forgot to do the thing, dang it. Okay, well we killed him before he managed to get it off, so that's good. Start building more chambers. Is it daytime already? That was fast. What's that sound? I guess someone was doing some fighting. 15,000. Close to done. Just gonna go ahead and collect some food from this, and then we can kill this newt. Newt.
An ant has been devoured by Aerichea quadrilicitata, a dwarf salamander. It is nimble, fast, and slender enough to wiggle through tight crevices.
These are the main roadblock between us and all this food down here. And I kind of want to wait to get that, just to make sure we're powerful enough. 44 ants should be plenty, but I just want to make sure, you know. Again, make sure that you're not angering the other ants when you collect your aphids. You'll notice the big-headed ants have stolen back some of their aphids. Stolen some of their aphids, that makes sense. Whatever. You know what I mean. Alright, we're going to try and do this now. The best time to start digging out areas or attacking other colonies is right after nighttime ends. No, right after you've killed all the toads. Then you have maximum time to do stuff before the toads return. The toads are honestly the biggest problem in this level. If it weren't for them, you could just chill out and not worry about anything for quite a while. As long as you don't anger the other colonies, that is. If you defend if they start stealing your aphids and you start defending your aphids, they will start attacking you, even though they were the ones that started the confrontation. Which is a little annoying. Also, I was going to say they don't fight each other. They do. I was thinking of Rising Tide. You'll notice a lot of our ants have actually lost their buff. Once they lose their buff, they're just like pervasive ants, but without the free hatching. But again, 2 minutes of a buff is quite a lot, especially since a lot of ants don't even last that long. Alright, so now we get heaps of free food. We're going to start digging it all out immediately. There is indeed no time to waste, Mr. Narrator, man. Now you can go past this chamber and go down from here. Not worth it. We can have our second chamber collect food from the aphids. Delicious aphid juice, and our first group will go here and collect food. Actually, we're going to tunnel into here immediately so we can get this food off right off the bat. That way, all we'll have to worry about is something that I completely forgot. My train of thought doesn't have rails. It's just sort of there, and then it's not sometimes. It takes so long for the ants to get over here. I wish you could just dig through here. The toads will eventually do that for us, but we gotta wait for that. We're gonna recall our second group so they don't trigger the other colonies.
The larvae must be protected.
The larvae must be protected, except that only one level has enemies that go for the larvae, and it doesn't even say that message when they do that. That's the slave makers in Subjugation, by the way, that do that. So, we're probably going to spend all of today collecting this food, and then once nighttime comes... Yep, they're coming to steal our aphids. Once nighttime comes, then we can fight off all the frogs, and then by that time, we should be ready to fight the little black ants. Again, this is not a speedrun guide. This is a easiest way to beat the level guide. And look at this, glorious. We have the ants fighting. Big-headed ants and little black ants. Okay, just checking to make sure I'm recording. We're 40 minutes in. Not bad, but not great time either. There is no set time for this level. You could probably speedrun it pretty quickly, but I'm not doing that. I don't know how many times I feel like I need to say I'm not speedrunning, because I'm not speedrunning. Did I mention I'm not speedrunning? By the way, I've noticed how my commentary has gotten kind of boring and repetitive, so I've started writing down fun things to say during recordings. Hopefully the new enemy comes out tomorrow so I can talk about it. This is a velvet ant, red velvet ant. They're very cool. Not technically ants, they're actually a type of wasp, but they are very cool and I like them. Incredibly painful sting, apparently. They're called cow killers because of that. Speaking of powerful venom and poison, it's always funny when people say stuff like, this jellyfish has enough poison to kill 3 billion people. And I'm just unimpressed, because, like, okay, how are you going to distribute all that? That's not, like, once it has enough power to kill one person, that's really all it needs. I mean, I guess the stronger it is, the harder it is to cure, I guess. And also, it's like, it means like just a few molecules are enough to kill you or something like that. But really, it doesn't, it's overkill, literally. It doesn't need to be that powerful. We're doing very good on upgrades for our units. Our absolute units, if you will. See, this is what I mean. Commentary's not good. Then there's also the constant pauses, which I really need to edit out. And as you can see, aphids all gone. That's why there's no point in collecting aphids from these islands, because they're just going to get stolen anyway. Someone died. And excellent, we've collected all the aphids. Those aren't aphids. Whatever they are, we've collected them. And now we can go out and kill some more bugs for food. And then we'll do that until nighttime comes. And then once we have about 2 fully upgraded chambers, then we should be ready to take on the big little black ants. I just realized one colony has big in the name, the other has little in the name. That's interesting. You don't really want your soldiers to trickle in like this. You want them all to attack at once. But I'm too lazy to do that. But it's a bad idea, just so you know. Yeah, I would be doing way better if I didn't do that. I really shouldn't have done that. See what I'm doing? Don't do that. Bright warning stripes. Those aren't really stripes. It's like pretty much the entire body is red. I don't think that's what a stripe is. We're going to want to kill as many creatures as we can for as much food as possible. You can get quite a lot of food from this. That's where the main source of your daytime food comes from. Because again, aphids. No aphids. We're going to want to upgrade our food stores as well. Because we're going to want about at least 500 food stored for our first attack on the black ant colony. You really need to make sure you have enough for respawns, because if you run out of food, unless you're using pervasive, you're cooked. Which again is pretty much the only reason you would use pervasive. That, and it makes the early game way faster. Because you'll notice that in the early game I was just kind of sitting there for a while I waited for my aphids to slowly give me enough food to attack the underground areas. So yeah, now I'm grouping up my ants. They still have a tendency to spread out a little bit. You'll notice that their speed will change as they run. They'll speed up and slow down occasionally. I think they do that to try and maintain a trail, which is nice, because if they all just moved in a big group, it'd be more effective, but less interesting. And I appreciate the effort to make it more interesting, even at the cost of efficiency. Yeah, it's not like a typical RTS, I assume. This is actually the only one I've really played, unless you count the Civilization stage from Spore. We might actually be able to attack the Black Ant Colony today, but I really don't want to if it's going to be this close to nighttime. because I assume nighttime's coming now. This level requires quite a lot of patience if you haven't noticed. Black Ant Colony doesn't get any stronger once you start attacking them. They just start attacking you. The big-headed ants start spawning super soldiers, though. I want them to move away from that. So now we have two fully upgraded things. We're going to want to dig out all of the tiles around them, because the more tiles you have for fighting in, the better. Prepare to upgrade our food storage. And we're really running low on things to kill. But we don't have enough food to challenge the little black ants yet. That's really what you need mainly, is food. And a pretty good force. Fireborn, the guy that deleted his channel 3 times, he managed to kill the little black ants on the first day. He's a senior ICS member, if you didn't know. That the ICS is Impossible Completionist Slugs. It's basically the elite group of Empires of the Undergrowth players that try incredibly difficult challenges. You've probably seen a couple of their videos, like Nappy Games on YouTube. He's the one that uploads all those. He uploads impossible difficulty of pretty much every level. So you've probably seen him. He doesn't do commentary, though, audio commentary or anything, which is a shame because we need more tutorials, which is why I decided to make this series. Because I want more tutorials, so I decided to make them myself. Where's the hitbox? Alright, so 16k health, not too bad. These guys aren't too bad individually, but in groups they're pretty nasty because of their confuse ability. I really want to attack them. I don't just want to sit around and do nothing, even though that's kind of the best thing to do here. Just confirming I've collected all the food here. Clicking and dragging around the map is actually a very fast way to get around. I probably could have killed the little black ants by now if I, you know, tried. But I am low on food and I really don't want to risk running out. I guess I'll go here and just hope that one of the other spiders wanders in here. And they both did it before I got a chance. Cool. Well, that's not helpful at all.
Approaches, and the predators.
Alright, perfect. Now we can go out and collect some free free amphibian food before the invading toads show up. We're digging out all this area to give ourselves more space to fight. We will need it at some point. Although make sure not to dig out the tiles around the places that you want to build ants. Oh, and now he's leaving again? Well, you just left. If I'd known you were going to leave, I'd send some dudes after you. And that guy's leaving before I get a chance to fight him. That's cool. Also, why are they separating their aphids out? There's 11 there, 4 there. These guys have 12 there, 2 there. Put them all in the same... Ah, here we go. Okay, false bombardier beetle. Wait for the narrator to say something about him. Wait for the narrator to say something about him. Maybe we have to attack him first. That usually doesn't happen, though. Okay, well, he's gonna say something eventually. There we go. No. Hasn't said it yet. There we go.
Is also on the prowl for small prey. It impersonates the true bombardier to ward off potential predators, and its mimicry isn't simply visual. It too can spray defensively from its abdomen. In this case, the fluid of choice is the familiar formic acid.
Now, for the longest time, I was so confused. Why does it need to mimic the bombardier beetle's colors if it has its own defense mechanism? Because the entire point of mimicry is to look like something dangerous so you don't get attacked. But it's already dangerous by itself, so why does it need to look like the bombardier beetle? Well, an ecologist Play has pointed out that the reason for that is because if they both have defensive abilities, and they also both look the same, then predators will associate those colors with danger faster, which is not something I'd thought of. So it actually does help, even though you think it's not necessary. So that's pretty cool. Also, I saw a false bombardier beetle in my kitchen a few months ago, and I was able to identify it because of this game. So that's pretty cool. This level, by the way, takes place in, I think, like North Carolina or something, in a swamp. It's in America somewhere, where fire ants are an invasive species. They're not supposed to be here. They came from the same place as leafcutters, I believe, actually. Now we're gonna get enemies digging into our nest after the point where it's useful. And we're still gonna have to fight a bunch of them in narrow corridors, which is annoying. Let's turn off food gathering here. This should be enough food to prepare us for the big-headed ant, or the little black ants. See, we're almost out of food already. Would have gone way worse if we had tried to fight the little black ants. We'd probably be out of food and be low on soldiers as well. That's why you gotta be patient, even though it sucks. This should be enough food storage for now. Eventually we're going to get over 1,000 food, but for now this should be enough. Alright, time for our third chamber. Oh, and we need to build more workers as well. I just surround the original worker tiles with more workers. That seems to be enough for the whole level.
The ants must defend themselves.
There's a trick for the final amphibian wave that actually I learned from Fireborn, and it works really well. It makes it a lot easier. Highly recommend, and you'll see what it is when that comes up. Still don't have a lot of food for killing little black ants. Let's actually camp some of our guys out here just in case the spiders decide to change their minds and move again really quickly. We're also going to collect some of these little seeds, dandelion seeds. Look at this, they got so many dead things here and they're not collecting the food. They're just sitting here not collecting food. Yeah, the AI in this game is not great. Which is probably a good thing, because if it was, it'd be almost unstoppable. Oh, I can go back up there, that's a good idea. Yes! Oh, I thought that was a spider. Still cool, still food.
Staving off another night of attacks,
Yay.
the Victor colony once again proves its strength. Despite this victory, there is yet one obstacle that stands in its way. Ever present, the bullfrog looms over the ants. The beast must be defeated.
You know, the narrator won't shut up about the bullfrog and the level doesn't end until you kill it. But realistically, there's no reason to kill it. I mean, it doesn't attack your nest. It just sits there and it keeps other amphibians away. There's literally no realistic reason to kill it, except just being mean. Alright, now it's time to attack the little black ants. We're still kind of low on food. Should not have built all those other guys. But I wasn't paying attention and completely forgot that I needed to save food. And we should be okay, probably. Most likely, almost certainly. Although, you never can tell. And I think we've killed all these spiders. We have. We've killed all the spiders. Excellent. By the way, if you go here, a wasp attacks you. I don't know where it is. Oh, it's over there. So collect a little more food. Oh, we're almost full on food again. Excellent. I don't know if I need to upgrade those yet, so we'll not do that. Gonna move everyone back here, and then once we start attacking the little black ants, we're going to turn off food gathering. Hey, they're getting fought by a beetle. Good beetle. Wait for all of our ants to conglomerate here. Now we're going to send them in here. They'll collect a few aphids. Why are these guys showing up? We don't have aphids. Oh. Turn off aphid collection. No, it's too late. Dang it. Now they're going to trigger the big-headed ants. You know what? In that case, we're fighting the big-headed ants first. We want to kill them before they can get too many super soldiers. I wasn't paying attention, and I let them get the aphids, and yeah. But they shouldn't be too bad. They usually like to send most of their army like out here to do nothing instead of actually being useful. But I think we should be okay. So this is not normally how this level goes. Oh, also, we're camping outside the nest before we actually go in, because we want to thin out their numbers and make them run low on food a bit before we go in. We can kill the small trickle that comes out here until we get all grouped up, then we can all charge in at once. Which we're doing right now. And hopefully this ends well. Oh, they've got like nothing. We're fine. See, they're starting to make these tiles. They don't actually... These tiles will spawn on their own. See? They're spawning on their own. They're getting dug out on their own. Well, the tiles are getting selected. The ants themselves still have to go over to them. Again, there's a thing where you can just turn off combat and some of your ants will just run past. But as soon as they get attacked, they'll stop running past. And if there's too many ants in the way, they'll just not be able to do anything. Also, the update is buffing big-headed ant majors, which are the in-between ones. They're the soldiers they have before they get the super soldiers. And they're barely better than the workers at combat. The workers are actually pretty good for combat. And we've almost got them down. So yeah, normally kill the little black ants. Wasn't necessary this time. Well, it was pretty much required to not happen, actually. Now, if the little black, or if the big-headed ants get hostile towards you before you're strong enough to attack their nest, don't try and attack it right away. Just stay defensive and wait for an opportunity. Wait until you're strong enough to actually take on their nest before you try and take on their nest. Because I rushed their nest because they attacked me, but you only want to do that if you're already strong enough to take them down. If that happened a day or two before, I would not have done that. And that's the thing, it's not the end of the world if they manage to, if they start fighting you before you've finished. Before you're ready to attack them, it's not the end of the world. Just harder, you can still win the level. You'll notice we're keeping our weaker soldiers back at the nest, because right now they can't really do anything. It's funny when they run away and they still have an ant on them. Oh. I was going to check it to see if they're constantly taking damage. By the way, I currently have a brown marmorated stink bug on my wall. I'm actually going to take a picture of it so I can put it in the video because that'll be fun. It's on the cord for, I believe that's my Wi-Fi router. So yeah, very cool. Marmorated, by the way, just is such a funny way to say marbled. Oh. We're full up on food. I thought I heard the queen dying sound for a second, got really scared. That was a little strange. You can use F1, F2, and F3 to act. Are you kidding me? What happened? What? Where'd they come from? What are they doing? I was up here. What in the world?
If left undisturbed.
I am genuinely confused. Man, I'm getting both colonies attacking me before I want to. Fortunately, we don't have to rush these guys because they're really weak. Again, I could just attack them right now. I'm probably strong enough, but I want to get as much food from this place as possible. Alright, so we're being invaded again. Let's actually not place down more stuff yet. That's a stupid idea. Don't do that in combat. We're also going to have two groups go here, where there's lots of frogs, and one group take out these individual frogs. It would help if I put the marker a little closer. This is the worst part. They'll go through here and you'll have to fight. You'll have to fight them in a tiny little area. This is why we need over 1,000 food. Oh, we have 123 ants. That's cool. Alright, I think we're ready to take on the little black ants now. And I messed that up, so I'm going to have to replace that with a speed tile, and then upgrade it so I can fully upgrade this spot. That's okay, though. Now, ideally, we want to kill these guys when they're not grouped up, so making a bottleneck here is generally a good idea, and then waiting for them to come to you. They often form trails from here all the way down to this aphid plant, or over to this plant. We are well prepared for this. There's no reason to worry. That said, we're still going to camp outside their nest real quick. Sometimes you can just put one group outside each entrance, but usually that's not necessary because they generally just come from one. This is why we're camping, see? By the way, if you want to send your ants somewhere, like on top of an enemy nest without them going in, you can actually place a marker directly on the minimap. See? Right there. That's pretty cool, huh? And now we go in.
The Monomorium minimum colony is almost defeated. The Invictor Their army must press their advantage.
Don't bother going for the food that's just in units of like 1. It's not worth your time. By the way, if you go down here, then you can actually... I've heard that going down here, down the bottom, it makes it easier to... It prevents your, It can prevent them from rehatching ants as easily, because that's where a lot of their workers are, I think. Don't remember exactly how that goes, but allegedly that can help. Yeah, see, look at this. He's swimming. He's a frog. They don't... Toads don't do that. Still a few survivors that haven't had their tiles despawned yet. I hate how... Look, it shows up on the map, like, oh, there's tons of food here. You go here, it's all 3s. Sometimes it's all 1s. I don't know why that shows up as so much. It's not so much. Always keep at least a couple hundred food for respawns. Don't get spend happy like I do. Especially, don't get tricked into trying to make... Don't spend extra food just to make something symmetrical. Like, make sure you still have plenty of food to respawn and stuff. I fall into that trap all the time. Oh, and there's an ant on the wall, too. Is that an ant? Yes, it is. Has very long legs. Don't leave. I wanted to get a picture of the ant, too. Well, whatever. It's brown. It's probably like a carpenter ant or something. Which probably isn't a good thing because they can destroy walls, but whatever. Our walls seem fine for now. 2 weeks from now, they're just going to cave in all at once while I'm recording a video, and I'll have hilarious footage. Foolish man refuses to take ants seriously, instantly regrets it. At this point, we're just going to upgrade our current, expand our current tiles a bit, and then we're going to kill the frog. I'm getting aphids right now because just want to make sure I have a good food supply for the frog.
The ants have been attracted to secretions of nectar produced by a yellow pitcher plant. In order to feed, however, the ants must position themselves precariously over a deep vat of digestive liquid. Waxy deposits on the rim ensure that any ant that steps too far in won't be stepping out again.
Oh dang, they actually got some food from that. But they usually just slide in and die. Alright, I think we're ready to take on the frog now. So we'll just return here, max out our food a little bit more, and wait for all our new ants to spawn in, and then it's frog time. Normally I would wait until right after the amphibians have left, the toads, but because if you attack the frog right at that point, you'll have to deal with the final wave of amphibians plus the wave that spawns after the frog dies. We're almost done with the level, over an hour in. Told you this is a timey level. That's not a word. just want to make sure I have enough food storage. Alright, that's plenty. Let's go. You want to have at least 4 groups. Well, at least 2 groups, but realistically 4. And I will show you why in a minute. Don't bother grouping up your ants before you go in, because the bullfrog has an execute attack as well. Its tongue is really weird shaped. I assume that's what it's like in real life too, but it's very weird. You didn't get to see it, whatever. See, 24,000 health.
The fire ants have mounted their first attack upon the great American bullfrog, Lidabates. The brave frontline soldiers are quickly crushed and eaten. They must surround and swarm the enormous creature to stand any chance of defeating it.
Now you can do the trick of disabling combat and having your ants run past, but it generally doesn't work all that well on this guy because it tends to just use its attack to yeet them all away anyway, but it does kind of work a bit, as you can see. Takes a while to kill him, but you can do it. This is why we need so much food. By the way, if you weaken the frog, if you get it down to... I don't know how much health it is, but if you get it down a bunch of health and then you just stop attacking, it will actually jump away instead of dying, and that it finishes the level just fine, but you don't get as many points for it, I don't think, and also you don't get any food. But that's pointless because you really don't have enough time to collect its food anyway. This is why I wanted the aphids, so I can still get enough food if I lose too much from the frog. Oh, for pity's sake, I've had the 4th group have their attack off the whole time. No wonder I'm not doing much damage. I always do that. Always check your groups when you're starting a fight. Make sure combat's on for every single one of them. Rookie mistake. Yeah, it's got like a forked tongue like a snake. It's like way thicker.
Overwhelmed with burning venom, the bullfrog finally succumbs to the might of the fire ants. Utterly spent, it collapses on the hillside, leaving the victors free to consume its body.
Now we collect food and then prepare for a fight.
The presence of the bullfrog was keeping many other local...
Gonna turn up the voice volume a little bit.
Other local amphibians at bay. The power vacuum it left behind is attracting a host of salamanders and frogs eager to take its place. The ants should go to ground quickly and prepare for the imminent chaos.
So, the guys that spawn in here, they don't actually spawn in the nest. They will actually come in through these little tunnels. There's this one here, and then this one here. And so if you camp here, you can actually prevent them from coming in, and you can only have to fight in those areas instead of having to fight inside your nest, blocking your workers from replanting eggs, putting your queen in danger, having to fight in narrow hallways. It's much better and much easier. In fact, I think the normal amphibian waves come in through here too, but I'm not sure. Maybe some of them do and some don't. This is why we need 2 groups at least. Ideally 2 groups of 2 groups. First 2 on one side, second 2 on the other side, because we want to have enough to stave off all the attacks from each side. You can have one group stay here at the entrance and another group go out here to kill these guys and make sure they die fast enough. Doing pretty good. No danger at all yet. I mean, we have almost 200 ants, so it's fine. I said we'd have at least 200, that's not the case. I used to take long enough to have like 400 ants before I fought the bullfrog, and I'd always get killed by the amphibian waves. Yeah, that's why, because they get stronger the longer you wait to kill the boss. I think there's a timer, and once that timer ends, you win the level even if you haven't killed all the frogs. So theoretically, you don't have to kill any of them, you just bait them around until you win. I'm not 100% sure if that's how it works. How did they get in? How did they get in? How did they get in? Alright, well, it's late enough in the fight that we can just send everyone inside. Otherwise, I just send in one group to clear out this one guy. But it's late enough, we shouldn't have to worry about that. You'll notice that we're not hatching super fast because we're missing a few workers, but that's fine. Should be fine. Alright, this is getting a little more challenging than I thought, but we're almost done. Maybe you do have to kill a certain amount. I don't know if that's how that works. We're going to keep one group staying at the queen just in case. Okay, we're actually almost done. There we go. That's almost all of them. We're almost done with the level. Good, good. I've still been recording this whole time. That's good. That is good. Because I've paused the recording for a bit when nothing interesting was going on. Okay, it looks like you do have to kill all of them. Because I swear that there have been times when I didn't have to kill all of them. And there we go. We have one cold blood on impossible difficulty.
Ground settles, and with the invaders crushed, a new order is established. This is now the domain of the fire ant.
Technically without the challenge active, but it literally doesn't matter on this level. Unless you try and get aphids, which there's no point. Victory for Solenopsis Invicta. Always choose Royal Jelly as usual. I'm going to make another video on this level that will have challenge mode on. Won't be that spectacular, don't expect it to do anything. And it will also be with pervasive ants. I want to show how to beat each level with each type of ant. Alright, so that is this level. Coming up soon, hopefully will be front lines, and also...
I knew it! With the proper exposure and stimulation, the mutation possibilities are boundless. The potential for amalgamation, which is, of course, an epistatic effect owing to increased cytoplasmic viscidity in
What
the...
are you doing?
Preparing the report.
Can you not do it quietly? Perhaps try using the keyboard?
The keyboard. How quaint.
Yeah, see, that's why he's lying to the other scientists, because she's not supposed to know about this. So, so that's Cold Blood. Next up will be Frontline and or A Bridge Too Far. And then after that, we get to go for my favorite tier of the levels, I think, Tier 5. So hopefully this was helpful for you. Let me know if it was. If it wasn't, let me know why. And also give any requests for videos you want me to make in the comments. Any kind of comments or feedback is appreciated. And also, before I end, I don't know if you can pick it up on the video, but some of the tiles here are all blurry, and I don't know why that is. I don't remember if I've reported this bug or not. Probably not. But yeah, that's it for watching. Thanks for the video. No. That's it for the video. Thank you for watching, and leave comments of any kind telling me literally anything, but especially about the video. So, outro words, bye.